Welcome to the Light and Love Box channel. You are part of a growing community bringing peace, possibility, and prosperity to help transform our world with light and love. My name's Tracy Anderson.
My name is Joe Courier.
And
I'm Ana.
yes, I feel like you've been with us enough now. You need to just introduce yourself.
Yeah,
You're just part of it now. But anyway, yes, we have author Ana Cortez with us here today, and she does the Doors of Somlipith and obviously other works that she's done. We have done a collaboration with her for a 13-box journey, and we've called this the Somlipith Saga series. And these have been extremely transformative boxes, and I have been so grateful to work with you on this project.
Yeah, it's been wonderful, Ana. Thank you.
Yes.
What a joy to work with you guys. It's been just a dream.
So for those of you who have not kind of seen some of our previous videos in this series, essentially what we did is we got together as a group and we did a ritual and we drew the 13 cards that would become the primary focus of each box over the 13 months. So we are additionally using the gate cards or the timekeepers between the full moons kind of as our guide to what that healing journey looks like in relation to the card that was drawn.
And we're talking about the cards from the deck of the deck of the Doors
Yes.
of Somlipith.
Yes. So interestingly, for this month, it was the only card drawn upside down. And that, hold on. Oh yeah, we can see it right here. That was Marduk. I feel like this has some really interesting significance to what was done. But I think it's also important to mention that last month's card was the Ace of Hearts. And on that card, there's something very specific to notate. The heart has one eye open and one eye closed. And that is calling you to dive into the exploration of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and being aware of the two. And I think that plays a really big part into the transition into these cards as well.
Yes.
There's a lot to take into account when you have that many cards that you're.
Yeah, and this one particularly, we had 4 gate cards from full moon to full moon. A lot of times we only have 3, plus the card that was drawn. So I feel like there's a lot in this story, and one of the cards we've already seen, but I feel like this time around we're looking at some of the aspects of that card that's calling us into service of others.
Yes, I think that's a big focus for this box, actually. Being able to move out of that space of consciously and unconsciously doing something that is of service, not just to yourself, but to others.
Yes. Okay. So the first gate card that was kind of the end of the last full moon is the Tower, and that's the 6 of diamonds. And I think one of the big key things that we've included in this box is that perspective of the higher perspective, looking at things from a different vantage point. There in this box, you're actually going to build yourself a little tower that has a moat. Little sneak
And a little castle and a moat, and yeah.
So I feel like it's really going to immerse you into the story and also let you connect to the healing components found in this box. So anyway, the next couple cards, I feel like, Ana, I know you always say that every card kind of has a positive and a negative side to it, but these next 2 cards, I think, people when they read it their initial reaction is like, oh, these are negative cards. So I'm hoping you can kind of, guide us into some of these really positive aspects of these cards, because people are naturally going to jump to the negative side. So the next gate card is Seven of Spades, and this is the Sword of Destruction. And then the Eight of Spades is the Curse. And I think this one is probably the most volatile card in this set of gate cards. So I'm just curious kind of what your perspective on this card is in particular.
Well, first of all, everything is a gift from spirit. Everything serves a purpose in our lives, no matter how we want to interpret it. And I think you have to be really careful not to negate the power of the gift that creator is trying to bring to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, this card, as you pointed out, was part of my personal spread for this lunar cycle. And I just spent most of the day today doing a little informational video for the new Cartomancy Academy relating to this card. And, there's something about managing energies that can become destructive if they're not properly dealt with, or if we use old patterning to interpret what's going on in our lives. And certainly this is probably one of the most transformative potentials in the deck, if we can recognize it for what it is and learn to elevate our own vessel, our own ability to regulate these cards for our personal gain. There's a lot of positive ways to use this card,
I think you've all, or both of you, and probably many people have heard that expression that there cannot be any new beginnings without an ending. And destruction is the ability to let go of something,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in a way that is unexpected, and not what you planned, but what was necessary to move you out of your comfort zone. But that's the only way to start with a fresh beginning.
Yeah, if we didn't have the power of destruction in our toolbox, we wouldn't exist. We would be nowhere. We wouldn't be able to end things that need to be cleared away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now in this box, the rune that was drawn with this was the goose, but really interesting, two realm stones came out with this rune, and that's a whole nother story. We won't dive into why I have realm stones in my rune bag, but anyway, just take it for face value right now. But the fire realm stone came out, and that's all about a fiery spark that's nourished, expanded, and electrified. And I think that's important to that whole destruction standpoint, is that connection to the realm also.
Well, nature actually refreshes itself through fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like it's an incredibly destructive force, and it is, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of plants, actually, that's the only way that their seeds then will germinate.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I like in the video I was making today, I talked about walking through the fire, and finding ways to feel the heat without getting burned by the heat. So again, this is a test that we will be given over and over until we master it. And then we really have incorporated a power that will take us beyond the ordinary life.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
an opportunity for clarity and strength, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anna, in your book, I love you use the word liberation. you know, that it's where true freedom can happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. So then here comes the card that we've seen before as one of the cards that was drawn, and that was the Nine of Spades. And this is the card that I feel like is really calling us to look at the flip side this time, and that is the call to service of others.
Yes.
A lot of boxes really looking internal
Mhm.
and healing the things inside of ourselves so that we can be a positive influence on the outside, you know, as we're dealing with people and interacting, and you know, we're just that natural to try to be that natural light out in the world. And so now this box I feel like is a major turning point of now, okay, yes, we got to keep doing the work on ourselves, you know, because that's what we're here for. If you're not growing, you're dying. So, you know, keep moving forward and changing and healing the things that need to be healed in our own life, but changing that focus out to others. How can we help them? How can we share with them? And so I really think that's one of the major reasons that Marduk was turned upside down, because by nature his card is about being slow to thinking, slow decision making, practical, direct. And you know, Anna, we had a conversation a while back, and you really brought attention to the skull that's on his head, making his head very hard. And then that concept of being turned upside down so that you get a whole new perspective. You're almost submerged in, I don't know, the underworld, looking at things from a whole new dynamic. And it's completely revolutionizing the way that we're going to see things.
And that we've been entrenched in
Exactly.
for so long. That's Marduk, you know. Yeah,
So
it's exciting when you think of it in those terms. You know, it's exciting to
hmm
have the opportunity to change your mind.
hmm
I think in a lot of the boxes that we have sent, there's been the idea of trying to find what your purpose is. And ultimately, in a very simplistic sense, everyone's purpose is to be of service to someone else in a capacity that fosters kindness and that allows you to let some inner light shine. And Marduk being upside down, oftentimes it just takes a different perspective, a different way of looking at whatever's in your life, whether it's situations or people or your response to things. Yeah, let's talk about some of the stones that are coming in this month's box. Um, Several of them are coming. So there's orange selenite that's going to be part of this, and that's like the salt of the earth. But the one that I think has a lot of meaning is the black onyx. And onyx does provide us with strength, whether it's emotional, physical. It helps us move into areas that are challenging, but we need that strength, and it helps to provide that. Believe it or not, onyx is a stone that they recommend for a woman who's going into childbirth, for labor and delivery, because it's very grounding, it's protective, and it also then gives you that strength for because our bodies know just what to do, but then you still have that need for strength. And it's not just physical. I think it's energetic, it's emotional, and it's mental. And Onyx does that for us.
Actually, that's kind of interesting that you bring up childbirth, because that's kind of the concept of bringing new life into the world. And actually, the cedar cones that are coming have that same message as well. It's that birth of new ideas, new perspective. Huh, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was a unexpected little connection.
Well, cedar itself is very healing. As an herb, it's cedar is medicine, well, as many plants are. In fact, probably all plants in some way. But cedar is the one that I don't know if any of you have ever drank cedar tea, but it's a
I don't
very,
know.
yeah, there's a very specific way of preparing it, but it's wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Really good. And do you
Mm.
have cedar in the new box this month too?
Yes, Tracy is bringing us cedar cones, and then we put some cedar sprigs in so that it just had that healing energy with it too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. So I spent some time actually today going out and collecting all the cedar cones, and I love them because they look like little flowers. And they're just in my cedar space. They're everywhere. So it just looks like it's a bed of flowers everywhere.
You guys put so much care into the boxes. I'm always moved by the amount. I feel like the box was made just for me.
Good.
They're special.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't probably realize this, but actually every box, you know, when I'm packing that box, I call out the person's name that I'm packing it for. So
Wow.
I make sure that I'm getting the stone that should be in your box. I'm getting the pack of herbs that should be in your box. You know, so and then everything goes cleansed before it goes, and so you know, I'm glad that comes through.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. I didn't realize that level of it. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything in it is, we've used the expression hand curated, and that's true, but it's not just from a buying perspective. Every item in every single Light and Love box has a connection and a true purpose. And there's correspondences and just so many reasons why each thing is coming. And it's so much more than we can explain in the labels or even in the ritual cards.
Yeah.
I almost need to tuck my notes into every little box so you can see all the little arrows and all the little diagrams that get.
Yeah.
No,
And
don't do that. No, don't do that.
People
but
think I'm crazy.
all the planning that goes into it, the thought, and the guidance, we ask for guidance.
Yeah, it's clear. It's very obvious.
So the rune that was drawn with this box was Laguz. And I feel like there are actually deeper meanings to why that card specifically was, or the rune was drawn specifically with that card. But in general, Laguz is like, it's like that flow from the divine down to earth, and it's almost like a spout. It's pouring out onto the earth. It's flow. It's they call it the sea of unconsciousness or the sea of the subconscious. So I think that is interesting also because it's that upside down dive into the subconscious.
Actually connects back to having one eye in the physical and one eye in the unconscious, because so much of what we do, even though we don't realize it as humans, is completely unconscious. Their patterns, their programming, it's just the things that we just don't even think about, but just that's the way that we act or respond or think.
Mm-hmm.
It also reminds me of how you said that that Marduk card had his head down almost in the underworld, as you said it. looking from a different perspective, you know,
Mhm.
be into things that he was unconscious of before.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, Joe and I actually did look at the map of the realms, and it's kind of interesting because it, it when you connect from the heavenly realm, which is the orange selenite, to the fire agate, which is the fire realm, and then you come back to earth, it's actually also forming an
Ooh.
upside down lagoos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I feel like there is some deeper meaning, but I won't send you guys on this crazy idea that I've got. But just know, I thought that was interesting that it formed an upside down.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those little things just sort of happen. All those little
Mhm.
synchronicities and then those aha connections. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
really fun.
Yeah. Well, and it makes you wonder, like sometimes I think we go about things quickly and we don't see all those connections, and we just kind of totally skip over it. But I don't know, sometimes you just get those really gnawing thoughts, and you're like, man, something's there, and then you start diving in a little bit and you're like, whoa, there's like a major message here also.
Yeah.
So if you would like to dig a little bit deeper, we invite you to check out the links below. We have opportunities for you to actually get this box or past boxes within this saga series, so that you can be on this healing journey that we are on. Um, and we would love for you to like and subscribe to the channel, share the content with your friends. And we are so thankful that you are here with us today. And we definitely look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Joe and Tracy.
Yes. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. See you next time.